January 9th, 2024, the latest episode, a brand new episode, episode 8, will drop for Valorant. I've been covering all the news up until this point, but I can now show you my gameplay and give you an overview impression, because there are some things I didn't talk about, like new Icebox and Lotus changes, as well as Deadlock and Killjoy. You guys probably know the details. I'll only briefly overview them, but how do they affect the game, right? You guys have seen them, but what about the gameplay effects of these changes and everything put together, right? Add the Outlaw in with the new map changes, with the buffs and nerfs. How does it all cohesively play together? Well, today I'm going to tell you my brutally honest review on episode 8. Let's start with the Outlaw. My opinions didn't change very much compared to my last video, so I'm not going to go into too much depth, but TLDR, the Outlaw is fun. First and foremost, it is fun. It is an engaging gun. However, I don't think it's broken. I don't really think it's going to shift the meta too aggressively. I think it's only going to do its job, which is pretty impressive from Riot. The entire fact that it will eliminate the light shield meta, that it should do, because it's extremely strong against light shields. However, as a single gun in later rounds, 2400 credits is still extremely expensive. It's very hard to call it an eco weapon of any sort. It is powerful, but it's placed right where it belongs, as a mid-tier sniper. If you're a comprehensive and cohesive sniper, like I predicted with Kami, yes, it's great. Kami was able to drop like 30 bombs and 40 bombs in these lobbies using it, but he can do that with the Marshall. So why wouldn't he be able to with a more powerful version of the Marshall, right? So that's exactly what I predicted, is exactly what happened the minute I started playing, which is feels good. I think it is well balanced, a fun gun, and the best change to Valorant in this new episode. It is the most engaging change, in which I think you guys, the viewers, will actually enjoy and get excited to hop on and test it out. It's fun. A lot of people are going to be playing it, and for good reason. It's an enjoyable gun. Next, something I didn't talk about, the Icebox and Lotus changes. A lot of people already know them, and you're seeing them being played here. There's an entire new midsection with window, and there is various opinions, and I can tell, because I was hopping in and people from my chat would come in and be like, nah, these aren't good changes, and I assume it's opinions they formed from other players, and to each their own. This is my opinion as a Diamond 1, as someone who doesn't play the game overly competitively, but still enjoys sweating here and there. I think I represent the average player more than a lot of the other content creators, just because a lot of them are professionals, a lot of them are Radiant, and a lot of them analyze based off of their knowledge in the professional scene, and that's all well and good. I don't care about that. That's just the truth. That's my honest opinion. I had fun. Icebox is a better version of Icebox. It is more open. There are some cool things you can do. I do miss a little bit of the verticality that was removed when it came to the other side. But I think overall, it's a more enjoyable map to play. I think it's light. I like it. I always liked Icebox, and I think it's just better. It's more open. It's more enjoyable. I love the window. I love the fact that there are a couple more angles and long range fights that can be taken. I love how you can peek different angles without getting stuck. I don't know. Overall, to me, it felt a little bit better. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but a little bit better, yes. When it comes to the Lotus changes, on the other hand, the Lotus changes are really fun. It is also open. It's like both these maps, especially Lotus, it's like if pretend it's a balloon and Ryan just puffed some air into it. They went and it kind of inflated. Like, I don't know if that metaphor makes sense, but the entire map is inflated. These people forgot about this rat corner. I used it for a cheeky eco kill. I think a lot of people are going to forget about these changes because there's quite a few new angles, but all the sites, especially like B site, is just more fun because it's more open, right? There's more crossfires, more ranged battles, I don't know. Overall, I like it. This whole new section here that you're watching is really great. There's only one thing I dislike about Lotus. The new doors slowing down near the midsection, so they're revealed more in the open for a while. Like here, this door would slow down right there, and then the entire section here would be revealed for a longer period of time. It's to encourage even more openness and more long-range fights. I think I'll grow accustomed to it, but at the moment, the way it was designed feels a little bit janky. It feels like almost like the door is bugging when it starts slowing down halfway through. I'm mixed feelings about it. I don't know if I like the door slowing down that much, but I have to see if I get accustomed to it. Overall, Outlaw W, map changes W. That's my opinion. That is me. That's my opinion, and probably maybe just only my opinion. But yeah, next, as you can see by this fat wall, we're going to be talking about the Killjoy and Deadlock changes. All right, so Deadlock, the trap comes out quicker. You can recall the trap. The Deadlock wall is much larger. Look at this long boy. Dude, look at this. It's so big. It's so weird. It's like elongated. Also looks kind of more like a bug than a buff. But yeah. Anyways, elongated deadlock wall. I think deadlock needed a buff. Obviously, no one's really disagreeing with that. And these buffs are a step in the right direction. However, probably not perfect because the Sonic still didn't feel... I didn't really feel like I got caught much in it. I don't really feel it's a huge buff. I think the deadlock wall buff is very, very good. It just makes it more usable in a lot of locations. And to be honest, it's kind of a buff that needed to happen because like I said, when Riot tends to rework maps, agree or disagree, they tend to do an inflation method. They go and then the map buffs up in size. Think of all the way back, like Split, when they first reworked it. It just gets bigger. It's like gets wider and more open. They've realized the narrow fighting and narrow corridors isn't very enjoyable. So they're widening their maps, and as they widen their maps, the angles become wider, and this deadlock buff was almost just a need, right? Sage aged well because Sage already had a wide wall. Deadlock was way too square where a lot of times the wall wouldn't even cover certain angles. So as much as it's a buff, it was also just kind of baseline needed. You know what I mean? It's like a buff, but almost borderline just quality of life to even make her usable. So yes, a buff, but very, very, very necessary. Is she going to become meta? I don't think so, but I'm not Radiant. I'm not professional. I think at least in our ELO, the average player's ELO, she's still not going to be completely meta, but she is much more viable and more usable. When it comes to Killjoy, the primary nerf we need to talk about is the range of her turret, it being only like 100 degrees now or something like that. I think, dude, look how long this wall is. Anyways, I think overall that was a good nerf to Killjoy because she has been a little bit too dominant. Everyone knows that. I don't know how much it affects her. I'm getting mixed results or opinions. I've heard some people say, no, I know that one tap was beautiful. Some people saying, no, she's, you know, it doesn't do anything. I don't feel a difference. And others saying, nah, this is too much. So I'm going to stay on the neutral side. I can see it being very annoying, but I always felt at some point the Killjoy turret would lock onto you a little too aggressively on certain angles. So I'm going to say W, but that's because I'm not a Killjoy main. So it's a biased W. Same idea with the deadlock. It's a W overall. She probably needs some more buffs, but I would say the agent changes, while somewhat mild and not meta changing, they're decent. Next would be, of course, the latest bundle. Not going to cover that in too much detail, obviously. It's a great bundle, one of the best in the game. I love this Vandal. I love this Melee. I like the white variants. I might buy them, but I'm a Valorant content creator. It's hard to advise people to drop $100. So yeah, pricing was a complete L to the point that it overtakes the skins. Great work by the art team. Riot needs to stop being so greedy. They need to be giving back to their players, and they can do that by just improving the skins without having to inflate the price. It is a digital asset, not some real tangible hardware that needs to scale with inflation, you know, IRL inflation. So IMO, great skin bundle, way too expensive, breaks my heart, but it is what it is. And then the battle pass, also won't go into too much detail, but I need to deliver a strong opinion here. People are starting to care less and less about the battle pass. I can see it across not just my views, because it's weird to just compare my own views. I circled the entire YouTube atmosphere, and season over season, act over act, the battle pass interest is dying because it is so stale. I'm going to make probably a dedicated video on why Valorant has the worst battle pass in gaming. Like, seriously, it is so bad. And I have so many opinions on it, but I want to do a proper write-up and explain properly why it is terrible and why interest in the battle pass is dying. Okay? No, they need to change it ASAP because it felt so stale. I barely wanted to review it. Probably also to do with the views, just kind of clicking through it. It's kind of meh. Who cares? Who cares? I'm talking right now, and you don't even care about the battle pass. You probably just agree with me as of how plain and bare it is. Moving on from there, the final thing to talk about is the lack of other fundamental changes to the underlying game of Valorant. Episode 8, a new episode, was a good opportunity. I love the new weapon. I don't want to say there isn't new content when these map changes and weapon are substantial enough. Like, I'll be honest, they're very good, and it's not good to overload your game, but the lack of any replay system, any new ranked rewards or rework to ranked, and other fundamental changes is needed. We're getting there where it's coming to a screeching halt. I made a video, 9 features Riot needs to add in 2024. And like I said, we are getting there. We need a ranked rework. We need some real ranked rewards and maybe some brand new cosmetics like gloves and agent skins to freshen up the game heavily. Otherwise, overall, it is a good episode. While not perfect, I'm excited, and I think you guys should be as well.